There we go. Hi guys, sorry about that. All right. I swear I looked at my phone and I was like, oh yeah, I have like 15 minutes. And then I looked again and I was like, oh my gosh. So, so I was like, oh my God, okay. Had to get myself here situated. All right. Hello everyone. Let's see. Thanks so much for hopping on. I hope everyone had a good weekend. Yes, Brenda, Mondays are rough. Mondays are very rough. And yeah, so we're starting the week off. We're starting the week off. Um yeah, this weekend I did happen to go to we were given tickets on Saturday to the orchid show at the New York Botanical Garden. Um And so they are having a orchid show, but the theme is fashion, a fashion orchid show. Um, and so I did end up taking a bunch of videos, even got to the point where my phone was telling me I could not take anything else. I could not take any more images. Um, oh, let's see, hold on. Maybe if I lower the brightness a little bit. There we go. Oh, Suzanne, thanks for asking. I just got another round today. So I had laid down when I got home and that's why I was like, oh, I have time. And yeah, I had another round of shots today. They're not as they were itchy initially, but they're not as itchy, but they had to give me extra medication. So you're supposed to take antihistamines before the shots, so that, it tapers down your reaction. Um, and I got very itchy last week, even with my meds. And so then today I took the meds, went, got the shots, and I was very itchy and my throat started getting itchy. So they had to give me more meds. So that's how my shots went today. But thankfully, so far I can feel they're a little sore. Um, but and there's like a little bump on the shots, on each side, but nowhere near as swollen and not feeling as itchy as they were. So good so far. Just the itchy throat got me a little worried there, but um here, I mean, look at these. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. There were some incredible orchids, so many species I'd never seen before. I mean, look at these colors. I mean, there were little mini orchids and there were these huge ones. These were ginormous. I think it's Paphylo Paphylopetalum, petalum, Paphiopedilum. I want to say that that's the, but these are huge. So this was like size of my hand at the very least. Huge. And one thing that was really cool is oh, this deep purple too. This was a really beautiful one. Uh But one thing that blew my mind was to get through the orchid show, you do have to go through their desert area. Um, so they have like a whole desert kind of scene. And I mean, Brian and I love going there because we love succulents. Uh, but I've never gone when they have like a specific desert flowers in bloom. Um, I do. Suzanne says I need to include a ruler in the photo. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely when I'm gonna try to do some editing and yeah, and put like a little measurement thing like on the edge. I'll see if I can do that to kind of show folks the scale because there were some that were so tiny. and others that were just so big. Um, but yeah, the desert blooms. So they had a bunch of flowers that occur in the desert, and they had them, and the most beautiful one were these that are called desert bells, and they're actually related to, they're in the borage family, and they're found in South California to Central Arizona. And look at this shade of blue. It was absolutely striking. Just this gorgeous, gorgeous blue. This just, it caught my eye as we were walking by. It was just so, so beautiful. I was like, I need to take a video because it was so beautiful. Yes, right. Suzanne says it reminds her of lobelia blooms. It does. It really does. It had that look to it. Um, I'm trying to see. Here we go. So it was fashion, as I mentioned. Yes, it is, George. Yep, yep, that is the scientific name. Phacelia, I think it's Phacelia is how it's pronounced. Um, so because it was fashion, right? The Orchid Fashion Show. So there were several mannequins that were dressed in these amazing, amazing outfits. And so, for instance, these boots were covered by preserved orchid flower blooms. So there were a bunch of orchid flowers that had been preserved, and they were encasing this entire boot. And something I found very funny was that the artist made a book bag to look like one of the orchids, which I think was the Paphiopedilum, and then put one in the bag. So it was an orchid within an orchid, orchidception. And really beautiful. And these headphones, I think they were cattleyas. They were headphones with a clear strap, but each one was a giant orchid. It was so, so beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Here we go. You can see the headphones. These gorgeous, gorgeous orchids. And they had, trying to see. Oh, and then this one. So this one was an alien head on the mannequin, but it had a clutch that was a Venus flytrap. You could see the metal spikes along the edge with orchids, live orchids inside. And then she was covered in kind of like tulle. Um, but there were different types of air plants sticking out um of the dress. Really, really, really interesting. It was really fun. It was really fun to see. It was very different, and I really liked it. And I love the diversity of species that were also showcased. Absolutely amazing. I did see that they had some jade vine. I'll show you a better picture because they weren't even open yet, so they're about to bloom. Um, but these are from the Philippines, and I actually recently I have seen them before. They used to be a big centerpiece. So there's, when you're walking through this area, there's like these arches. And so one of those arches was that vine. And so as you would walk through, you would just have it almost like a chandelier of these gorgeous jade vines. And just the color is spectacular. Just the vibrancy of that color is crazy. And now they have a red passion flower as like the kind of the main statement, as well as an Aristolochia grandiflora, which are these giant Dutchman pipes. And so now the jade, it's still there, but it looks like they cut it back. So it's kind of growing like on like a quarter of the arch. So it's not like the rest is like that passion flower. Um, and so it's not as dramatic as it used to be. Like it was such a wowing like kind of centerpiece before. And so I'm kind of sad now that you know, it's no longer there. But let me show you what this looks like. Here we go. So I was there before they bloomed. So they're just getting ready to bloom. They'll probably like within the next week or so. But look at that color. It does not look real. It's just such a striking color. Absolutely beautiful. So I mean I'm happy I have seen them in bloom, that it's super cool. I'll see if I can go maybe, you know, not this upcoming weekend, but maybe the following weekend and see if I can still catch them in bloom. Um, because they definitely are absolutely just it's a beauty to behold, seriously. Um, yeah, it's so amazing. The ones that they do have are the red passion flower, which I love passion flower. It is absolutely beautiful, but this is what those blooms look like. Kind of like it's more like this one. So the coccinea. And so coccinea usually means scarlet or red. Um, so absolutely alien looking, but in the best way. Really gorgeous archway full of these. And they also have the I got that backwards. Lakia. There we go. These giant flowers. And so here we go. Just so you can see the scale there. Absolutely ginormous. And so they have those in one of the archways. It's just all those vines and those huge flowers. Really beautiful. Uh, very cool to see when they're blooming. I saw those for the first time actually at a Costa Rican botanical garden. So when I see them here, it's very cool. Yeah, it's again another very alien looking type of flower. It's quite at first you're kind of wondering what in the world is that, but yes, it is it is a flower. And then the back, yeah, looks really really odd, but absolutely gorgeous. Um, Here we go. Just so you see how they have very like heart-shaped, like cordate type of leaves. Kind of looks like wild yam or those type of like, or even like morning glory. It has that like flower that heart shape to it. Uh really beautiful, really cool. So yeah, just to show you what in the world I'm talking about, but they are quite amazing. So we got to enjoy that, got to really check that out. Um, there was also some anthuriums. So Brian, of course, we were enjoying seeing here we go. This one was in flower. So these Anthurium veitchii. So they're very large anthuriums. They have a very textured type of leaf. I think I moved too quick on that one. Trying to see if I could freeze frame it on, there you go, frozen. Pause there. So you could see it's a very textured leaf, very long leaf. So these leaves were huge. There was one that we could not reach because they had them growing not only in kind of like long, um, kind of floral like boxes around the ledges because it's like a platform that you can climb, but they also had them hanging from the ceiling. And the one they had from the ceiling, one of the biggest leaves was facing way away. It was facing away from us and it was way too far. But it was quite impressive size. Uh, very, very beautiful anthurium. Here I think this was the Magnificum. Um, had a new, was it the Magnificum or the Crystallinum? I think it was the Magnificum, but really had a new leaf coming in. Anthurium leaves are very cool because they'll start off very small like that, and they will start actually getting larger and larger. So usually, like with philodendrons, right? You kind of get what you're gonna get when you get the leaf. It's just kind of soft and then it starts to harden, but rather, that's the leaf size. There might be just a teensy bit of difference once it hardens, but otherwise that's basically it. But with anthurium, it unfurls and starts like this, and then it just continues to get bigger. It's a very, very cool to watch. Trying to see if there was anything else there that, yeah, I'm gonna try to put all these clips together and slap some
So,
music on there.
hey,
Oh, hi. Uh-huh. Oh,
hey, sorry, I unmuted myself by accident.
oh, no worries. And I'm trying to see, yeah, I'll put some of these clips together. I'll put some music on there and so that everyone can really see how spectacular it was. And there were these bromeliads as well, these blushing bromeliads, just a bunch of them. And they had been misting them, and so they were all of their like cups were full of water, and they were blooming inside those cups. You can see here. So, yeah, the screen doesn't do it justice. I'll try to put these together, um, just so that you can check those out. Oh, and last one, this really funny. So these the pants were made out of echeverias for the mannequin. So these are all echeverias. And these were, I believe, Calicia um was all on top as the top. These beautiful, beautiful echeverias made up those pants. Um yeah, it was absolutely gorgeous. And I of course had to stop by the shop and I saw so many amazing books. I didn't want to bring home any more books right now, but I took pictures of them because I'm going to see if I can find them on Kindle. But like the Orchid Muse, I had perused through it. I thought, okay, this is a book I actually want to get. And it's The History of Obsession in 15 Flowers. So it kind of walks you through how it was found, how it got brought into the market, things like that, how it rose to popularity or when they've had falls with popularity. Really cool. The same kind of vein with this book called Orchid Fever, a horticultural tale of love, lust, and lunacy. Um, and if anybody has ever seen the movie Tulip Fever, if you haven't, I highly recommend it. Um, kind of those romance meets tragedy meets plants. So very, very cool. I definitely I was like, all right, this looks cool. This one too. Demystifying Orchid Pollination, Stories of Sex, Lies, and Obsession. All about the nuances of orchid pollination, including that. There we go. There we go. Including there are many aspects of mimicry. And so a lot of orchids will purposely make themselves look like beetles or bees, even so that they will trick males of those species to essentially mate with them. But what's actually happening is they're actually helping to pollinate them. Um, very, very, very interesting. So definitely on my list. I'd love to really dive more specifically on those mechanisms because I really find that interesting. And then there was this atlas, a world atlas of trees and forests. So I'm gonna try to find that, see hopefully if they have it as an e-guide because I thought it was so cool. Um, yeah. So I'll let you know if I grab any of those. And if any of you have read any of those, definitely let me know. Tell me. Did somebody just ask if I've read Wicked? Wicked Plants by Amy Stewart? Yes. And I have her other book, about cocktails, I want to say. I think it's about, is it drunk Drunken Botanist or something like that? I think it's called Drunken Botanist. I have two of her books at the very least because I think I might actually have a third book by her, which was something flower. I think it was something flower. But yes, I have read The Wicked. It's a green cover. I have mine is a green cover. Really great. Yeah, and how like the white snake root um that it's believed to have killed Abraham Lincoln's mother. So, for those that don't know the story, so essentially, his Abraham Lincoln's mother fell very ill after consuming what is believed to be milk that was tainted with white snake root. And the way that that happens is that white snake root is one of those types of toxic plants that when eaten by livestock, in this case, a cow, a dairy cow, it's actually permeable. So it actually makes it into the milk supply. So this isn't always the case with other species that might be toxic to humans that livestock can eat no problem. And it doesn't affect really the livestock themselves, but if folks were to drink the milk that results after their consumption of that plant, then it's believed that it could then cause, like at least a very bad bout of sickness to the person who consumed it. But she was elderly, and so that is kind of a very, very, very abridged version of the story. But it's a collection. So the whole book is like an anthology, a collection of all these different stories. Very, very cool. And I have quite I have several books on poisonous plants. So I have there's a two-part book. That's one is plants that cure and plants that kill. So I have both of those, same author. And the covers are actually very similar. It's like one got like darkened. It was very, very cool. I have like my po the a poisoner's garden, poison throughout the ages. I have to say I have like at least 5 or 6 books on toxic plants specifically because it's very, very interesting. Especially because a lot of these plants have actually been isolated for their medicinal constituents, like foxglove, digitalis. So digitalis, it's very toxic. You don't want to consume that. However, in small amounts, it has been like synthesized to make like I think it's digitoxin. Is it digitoxin? No, digitoxin might be the toxin. I'm trying to think of the name of the drug that's given, I think is a heart medication. Um so it's just, it's very very interesting to see. And a lot of those toxic plants too are used in homeopathy and other types of yeah, digitalis. Yeah, that's the genus. So that's the genus of the foxglove. It's digitalis, but then I don't know, is the medication also called digitalis? I feel like it's digitoxin, but then I'm thinking, no, that might just be the name of the chemical that is being extracted. So I'm not sure. But yeah, I know digitalis is the name of the foxglove. And but yeah, that I'm oh, digitalis is also the drug name. Okay, all right. There you go. Thank you. So yeah, and so it's used. And I know a lot of things, even certain plants like poke root, American poke root, has these really vibrant, like magenta purple type of berries. And it's actually very edible as a young sprout. But once I think it's above 7 or 8 inches, the plant starts to shift from a green coloration to a pink coloration on the stems. And that's when it's basically now producing toxin once you see that pink coloration. So you don't want to collect them when they're starting to get that pink because now that plant is toxic. But folks do eat the roots. Poke root salad, it is a common thing, especially in the South. And poke berries are considered very, very toxic. I actually had someone come to one of my botanical walks. We went on a forest walk at Forest Park, and we came across this plant, and I was talking about it, and her grandfather had actually died. Um, because he had consumed those and he was older, and they didn't know what he had consumed, and so she had never seen it in person. And so yeah, in larger amounts, especially for children, elderly folks that might already be like health compromised, not something you want to come across to in terms of eating. But there are people that do actually eat the berries. So they kind of try to build up a resistance. And so I have never tried it. I don't think I want to play with that. But there are people that really ascribe to even taking one berry a day to build up their tolerance. But yeah, no. And that they has some medicinal value. But I tend to stay away from that. I think the closest that I play around with toxic plants is I absolutely love eating the arils from the yew trees, the Japanese yew. Um, and like the European yews. And so the seed inside, it's technically a naked cone. The seed inside is cardiotoxic. Like it can cause you to go into cardiac arrest. So you don't want to eat that or accidentally swallow that. But the fruit around it, so it's called an aril around it. You can make jelly. It's very sweet, very, very tasty. And so I love eating that. And so I don't pop the whole thing in my mouth. I just I get prepared because my hands are going to get sticky, but I remove the aril and and eat that. And I never put the actual whole berry in my, like, it's not even a true berry, but I don't put the whole thing in my mouth. And I never put the seed in my mouth because what if an accident happens and I swallow the seed? Don't want to do that. But yeah, it's really beautiful. And let me see if I can it's beautiful and it tastes really yummy. I should try to see if there's anybody that sells like jam. I know it's made, but I've never purchased it. The red arrows of yeah, here they are. Texas is the scientific name for the yews. Here we go. So this is what I mean, where there is like a seed in there. So it's in there, and you don't want to eat that. So you only want to eat the red part. So if you happen to have these, um, they are very, very delicious. So, um, but you just don't want to. So I prefer not to make a mistake. So I like to peel it off and then eat it, making sure that the seed stays out of my mouth. So I know folks that do it they'll just take it, remove it with their teeth, and then kind of spit out the seed. I'm too scared. I feel that I will accidentally like laugh or hiccup and somehow end up swallowing it. So I've never played around with that. So I just yeah, I just eat the arrows because they are absolutely delicious. Um yeah, but I have heard that it maybe not one might make you feel discomfort. And if you do have already a heart condition, if you were to like accidentally swallow the seed, if you do have a heart condition or something like that, I mean, it would at least, potentially it would be safe to just get to a hospital. But it's more usual that it takes more than one. So if somebody was, unbeknownst to them, foraging and kind of just popped a few of these in their mouth, and swallow them, pits and all, the whole thing and all, they probably would not have a very good time. So they might go into cardiac arrest. So they're very cool. These actually tend to be used as hedge plants. So you might kind of recognize these. Oh yeah, very, very common now, really across the United States. They're kind of everywhere, in a lot of kind of like privacy fences and things like that will have yew. And yew is pretty interesting as a tree itself, and they tend to have very bendy type of branches. And so I think the European yews were used like for bow making, so like for bow and arrows, because they can take like a lot of bend without breaking. So it makes like a really great kind of structure to work with for that type of stuff. So yeah, very, very cool. And it looks like here somebody even made a tart um out of berries of the out of the arrows. So you can eat them. But just please be careful. Be very, 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 very careful. Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, George. I've eaten the arrows, oh my gosh, like almost all my life. I was probably like 7 or 8 when I found out about them, and that you could eat them, but that you shouldn't eat the pits. And I've been eating them ever since. The same with like what other I would eat shamrocks, so like the oxalis growing up. I think it was around that same time I learned that they taste very citrusy, kind of like lemon, very tart. And I love that. And so I started eating oxalis anytime anytime I saw it. So I was eating them all the time. What else was I eating? Autumn olives. They are invasive here in New York City, and I think they've kind of spread very much so along the Northeast. And I have every time I see them, I and they're and they're in fruit, I grab a bunch of those. Um, Other things I like to forage, oh gosh, garlic mustard, um, and oh gosh, garlic mustard. Oh, and sumac. Sumac, another thing. Um, yeah, quite a few things, but yeah, but this is the only plant that I can think of that has some level of toxicity that I even goes anywhere near my mouth. So um yeah, there's a so we have staghorn sumac, and so here, well, we have a couple species. I think we have the is it shining sumac? We have I know staghorn sumac. We have a couple species. Are foraging, so Teresa asked a great question. Are foraging books specific to a region? Any good book suggestions? Yes. So there are a few that I have that are actually specific to regions. Some are kind of like North America, basically. And then others might be much more specific. So I think I have one. Um, who wrote it? That is about the Northeast. I'm thinking of the cover. It's like a blue cover. Let me here we go. It's like foraging, it's like Northeast. This one, Northeast medicinal plants. I actually do have this book as well. What other book do I have? I don't think I have Northeast foraging, but I do have this one, the Northeast medicinal plants. There we go, Liz Neves. Um, so there are some that are specific. I think I also have one that's for the Pacific. And I mean, there's quite a few. I know I even have one that's just about Alaska. So I've never been, but I would like to go one day. And so I have one that's the Alaska kind of foraging book. I think it's called like Wildflowers and Berries from Alaska. Um, there's quite a few. Let me see. I think there's I can even see from here, Incredible Wild Edibles, but I can't see the author. That one I like. Oops. There we go. This one. I have quite a few that I recommend. I'm trying to think. Um, I know I made a book list. Let me see. I know I made a book list, but you can find them definitely regionally. Um, I'm trying to think of, I have this Peterson's book. The only thing I don't like about the Peterson's book, I just saw it and now it disappeared. Oh, there we go. Edible wild plants. There we go. The only thing I don't really like about the book is I wish I had more of like the photography. I know it's a field guide, right? So it's meant to be small and kind of get you to the point. It doesn't have a lot in terms of like visually, which is something I like. I like folks that include a lot of photos, especially different angles or focus on different parts of the plant, so that sometimes you need more than just one identifying characteristic, because sometimes a lot of plants, they have lookalikes. So for instance, something like a wild carrot versus hemlock, they look pretty similar, but one you definitely don't want to have. So like hemlock versus wild carrot. So something where you know somebody might not zero in on the stem, right? They might just be way too focused on looking at the flowers. But the stem of the hemlock, for instance, has purple splotches on it versus the wild carrot does not. And it also has a very kind of furry type of stem. So here you can kind of see, just want to see if I can zoom in on this picture. There we go. So this is for the poison hemlock. you can see it has this kind of splotchiness to it. It's not like a uniform kind of spot. It's just kind of spread all around. But look at the leaves. At first glance, you might not notice that the leaves are different. And the same with the flowers. They come in that umbel kind of shape. So think of like umbel is usually kind of like umbrella, right? It's kind of these white bunches on kind of like a plateau. Um, so you might get very confused, you might see them maybe outside your window, you're passing by, and you're like, oh yeah, I just saw some wild carrot. Unbeknownst to you that it's not. It's not wild carrot. It is related. So they are in the same family, hence why they have very similar characteristics. But then when you actually look at the wild carrot, it also has that bract under the flowers. So it kind of when they actually dry, it kind of forms like a cage around the dried flower head. So it's a very distinctive type of thing. The leaves, again, you can see why somebody might, kind of glance at the leaves and might kind of notice the overall pattern is very similar and not catch that, okay, the leaves are actually very, very different. The same with the flowers. They might not immediately catch it, but the biggest indicator are those stems. And so see, like these pictures here, these are the types of pictures that I love to see in guidebooks because they're showing you different ways, right, that you're seeing the plant. They're not just showing you a picture of a leaf. They're showing you a picture of a few kind of angles. Um, so I really like this. Are there books that I have that kind of meet all that criteria? Not always. So there are some books that I really love that are kind of missing the pictures but have a lot more info. I love, I even have a textbook on invasive species that I absolutely adore. Not that many photos in terms of the plants they're talking about, but it has a rich history as to how a lot of these species got here. So, how were they brought to the United States? How did they start to spread? There's an actual like timeline, and then it goes much deeper into like the ecological kind of drawbacks and impacts that these plants have had. So, I love that book, but it doesn't like meet meet all my criteria. So there's that Northeast foraging book. There is the one on, I think it's urban foraging, I want to say is the title of the book. And I got that in college. It's urban foraging, it's urban plants guide. Let me see if it's, there we go. The, yeah. So I got this back in 2010 when I was in college. And this was one of our required reading. And here it does actually include a lot of plants that you can eat, and it tells you how you can eat them and how you can prepare them. So it has some notes on that, how they were being prepared, and historically what they were used for, if there was any medicinal value kind of tied to it. So this book is very well loved. It has so many bookmarks and tags and things in it. If you live in an urban area in the Northeast, this is a book that you should definitely have. And there's a lot of pictures. So what I loved doing with this book is I would carry it around with me all the time. And as I would find the species that were being mentioned, I would press them into the book. So if you open my copy, a bunch of leaves just start falling out because I had quite a few specimens that I would find, and my goal was to eventually fill the entire book. But then, new semester started, and I would still carry it around, but I definitely wasn't as enthusiastic as I had been. And now thinking of it, I'm kind of like, I need to finish that mission. That was a cool mission. So I will grab it and see, yeah, how many more I can get. But the Northeast one, this one is really great. Um, The Peterson's guide, as I mentioned, I have that one and I do like it. I just wish that there was a little bit more. Um, food is free. Let me see if I can grab that. If I have that. It's in reach. I do, I do. Food is free. Which other one? Here's my Peterson guide. So I went ahead and grabbed the couple that I have to show you. All right, so let me stop the screen share real quick. Okay, so I grabbed the little pile here. Food for free. Uh, adorable. There is a new version. I really wanted this one, the old one, but I know that there is a new edition. Um, this is a really great little pocket guide. I really enjoy having this one. It is from Europe. So it is from the UK. However, so many of these we have here. So we do have quite a few of the European species that are thriving here in North America. So it's very much still very relevant here. So these are the wood sorrel, so oxalis. These are the ones that I would eat because they taste like lemon. So I really enjoyed eating that. But yeah, there's quite a few. There are a few mushrooms that we might not find here. There's like a little section with mushrooms. But the majority of them are trees and flowers that we are able to find here now because they have been brought over and they were successful in spreading and kind of taking over. So now this is the Peterson's book. Let me put these down before I drop them all off my lap. This is my Peterson's field guide. Also full of tabs. I love these. These are little sloths. Let me see if I can isolate one just so you see. Oh, here we go. Yeah, these cute little sticky tabs. This is also another one of those books that has leaves in them. So I'm trying not to put it like this because I'll drop them all on me. Yeah, several of my books. Look at this. It's so crazy. There's so much in here. Um, yeah, there's literally leaves. You could see like there's leaves in there. Um, so this is that Peterson's field guide that I was showing you. Now it's not that there are some photos, and it's not that there are no photos, but I feel like I would have liked a little more. Like for Wormwood, for instance, there's just this little close up, and that's it. Um, So while I mean that is a great photo, it's very clear. I really would have liked um some some other kind of maybe like a just a page of photos or something like that. The same with mugwort. So these are great examples. So this is mugwort, but this is when it's in flower. The leaves look very thin like this, and they almost kind of get like this three kind of lobe shape, this three lobe shape here, very thin, kind of wispy. And this is right before they're about to flower. Otherwise, they tend to have these bigger leaves, but then here you really don't get to see it. You're kind of seeing the back that yes, it does have like a white silvery back. But then you don't really get to see an entire leaf kind of on full display for you to really see what that leaf looks like. So that's my gripe with this book. I think it's just because I'm like, yes, it is beautiful and it is helpful, but at the same time, I wish that there was just a little bit more. Oh, this is a really big ginkgo biloba leaf here. But yeah, I think I kind of wanted a little bit more in regards to um the photography, if that makes any sense. Because especially if I want to, use this, and let's say I'm recommending this to someone that has never seen the plant before, I really want to make sure that they're getting an accurate picture of it. Because I mean, the descriptions are great, but a lot of people are a little bit more visual and they want to see it. I'm definitely a visual person. And so while I do like reading the descriptions, I do like to see that. And everybody's going to internalize those descriptions very differently. In one of my botanical classes, they actually wanted to prove that point. So she gave us a description, only a description, and she asked everyone as our homework to draw the plant that was being described. Um, and everyone's looked different. Of course, they had a lot of similarities um, in terms of structure, but yeah, when it says pink, everybody's shade of pink was different. There were some baby pinks, there were some darker pinks. Um, it was a really cool exercise, but it just lets you know that yes, people do read that and will take it very, very, very differently. Um, so so yeah, I appreciate pictures. This was a book I got second hand, so I didn't do this to the cover, but it was like $3. So I was happy I was able to get a copy. These actually do have pretty great photos. I like that they also have photos like with the roots if they're relevant. Um, even like the seed heads or the fruits if that's relevant. Um, and a lot of species covered in this, and also different ways of collecting them. So like the process of collecting syrup, for instance, and um, here we go. It's harvesting preparation. So this book, I mean, I do recommend if you're starting out, um, because there are some really great photos. So for instance, for Violet, it's a whole section. So that's also I like about this book, is that each plant kind of has a few pages. It's not just a paragraph and a picture, but rather there's like a little section. So for Violet, for instance, you see a close up of the odorata flowers, but then you're seeing also the different pictures of the leaves, close up of the stem and the flowers. Here's like different varieties, and also more pictures, again, more varieties, but you can see there's a few pictures. So we're still in the same plant. Same plant, and you still have the area covered. So this one, there aren't a lot of species covered. I mean, it's a lot for this book, but so here it's 36. So 36 species, but each one is given its due, so each one gets several pages. And other species that are analogous, like that you can also use the same way, are included. So this one's really good. Um, but yeah, it's also North America. It's kind of very broad North America for that one. And this one's good too. The Edible Wild Plants, a North American Field Guide. This one's great. The only thing is that they're very short entries. They covered a lot of species though. And not I don't think every species had a picture from my recollection. But it's very short. So for instance, this is one plant, this is one plant, this is one plant. So very, very, I mean, I like the guide. It's telling you if they're edible, if you can use them, if you how to prepare them. But it's like a really quick thing. Um, whether or not it has poisonous lookalikes, is it edible, how to harvest, like one or two ways to prepare them. and then their habitat. So it's a very brief kind of excerpt on these. But if you just want like a quick reference guide, can I eat it or not kind of thing, I do recommend this. Um, some have a larger entries than others, but uh, there are quite a few that really it's a little thing. Um, just like a little note on them. But I think they were just trying to cram as many species as they could. Still a really nice reference guide though. So, oh, there we go. It's because there's 200 species in here. So they really tried to fit a lot into a little book. So still good, still good. If you're just kind of, again, kind of starting out and you want something as a reference, that one's great. And these two. So this one's fairly new. Well, the book is not new, but I bought this secondhand over the winter. So I haven't really had a chance to use it. It's called Using Wild and Wayside Plants. I have another copy of this person's book. But I think this is an older edition. I think I have the newer edition. But I saw this secondhand for like $4 or $5, and I like sometimes some of the older editions will have like a little bit more on maybe traditional use and things like that. Things that are kind of edited might be removed, or even some species are taken off in new edited versions because they want to focus on other species. And so I like picking up older texts. So I haven't really used this one yet, but um, yeah, it talks a little bit more about kind of working with plants that are otherwise seen as weeds, and I'll notes on like herbalism and how that kind of has become, those plants kind of became a go-to for herbalists because of their commonality, and just they were just kind of everywhere. So and then this book, trying to remember where I bought this book. I think I got this when I went to a botanical garden, but I can't remember if it was when I went to Denver or Birmingham. But I picked up this book, and it's the complete guide to edible wild plants, mushrooms, fruits, and nuts, and how to find, identify, and cook them. This is another book that I've used very much as a reference copy. So it has some pictures kind of in one section of the book. It kind of put all the pictures in this one little section. And then the rest are kind of these entries. Some of them have some artwork, but for the most part, it's just the text with a couple. It's more focused on the recipes and kind of the history. So there's things on lore. You hear poke. So what I was talking about, that poke root. Um, and so yeah, it says here, pokeberries were once the favorite food of the enormous flocks of passenger pigeons that darkened skies over the northeastern states during the seasonal migrations. But the last known member of the species, which was hunted to extinction, died at the Cincinnati Zoo in 1939. So, species that were, evolved uh with these plants, and we're using these plants as a food source. A lot of those animals are no longer there. And it's sometimes that's very difficult also for the plants if they needed that plant to fulfill that niche. So um, this is what happens when, you know, uh, just plants can become, even in the sense their numbers start to dwindle so much due to all these different type of things. Maybe their pollinator isn't there anymore, or there just isn't enough of the plant in order to produce a good amount of offspring. And so a lot of these plants become what is called functionally extinct. So it means that we still have specimens that are out, but especially in cases where there are male plants and female plants, and if there is no pollinator, then they become functionally, they, even the plant can no longer fulfill the niche. Like it had its job in the ecosystem and it can no longer fulfill that job. So, but yeah, this is a older book. I do like it. It has a little bit more of the recipes. So if that is something, if you're a very you know, culinarily oriented person and you really want to like bake and make things with the plants, then this might really be a good one for you to consider, but more so again like North America. So um so yeah, these are just a few that I have kind of handy, right? I have a shelf that's just all guidebooks. So it's literally guidebooks. And so there's it's trees, insects, flowers, and then I have some edible plant guides there. So, yeah, there's a couple. Teresa says, I just saw that Charles Cullen was a serial killer that used it, oh, foxglove, hundreds of times. It was his poison of choice. It is used for so many things too, that are medicinal, so confusing and complex plants. Yes. Oh gosh. I didn't know that. Yeah, there are so many folks that used a lot of plants, especially poisons. I think, yeah, I have a book. I think it's called Poisoning Through the Ages or Poison Through the Ages. Let me grab. I have a few of these types of books. Here, plants that kill. That's definitely one. And then I think it's Poison Through the Ages. Death in the Garden. Okay, I'll grab these two. Yeah, so this one is the Plants That Kill. So a natural history of the world's most poisonous plants. Big hardcover book. This is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So I love these big books. So absolutely gorgeous. I mean, the photography is amazing. The information is presented in an amazing way. And what I love is it actually tells you like physiologically what is it that the poison is doing to your body. So it's not just it causes dizziness and vomiting. Like it actually is telling you how it affects the body systems. And so for instance, here is kind of talking about plants that affect your brain and nervous system and the entire pathway and what is happening, why is it affecting you. um so I really like that it explains those mechanisms, because that's what satisfies me is I want to know how things work. Oh, here we go. Yes. And then this one is another book that actually talks about the yew, so that you can see those arrows. They seriously are delicious. So if you ever have a chance to taste them, please do, because they are really sweet. I don't even know what I could compare it to because it's different. It's not like strawberry. It's it almost honestly, it's almost like an artificial candy. Um, think like Gushers or something like that. It's very sweet. Um, and also like the texture and it's yeah, it's very different. And I think that's what why I love when I see them grabbing them. Um, look at this one. But yeah, so there's a couple species in here that are covered, and what types of constituents they have as well. So talking about certain types of plants that have different types of like alkaloids or terpenes. that cause these types of reactions and exactly what it is that they're doing to the body. So, like, oh, here, ricin. So this castor beans, so they're used to make ricin. So these are the beans. If you've ever watched Breaking Bad, they talk about ricin and then they make ricin. And so these are like crushed, and I believe that they're put in the oven, they're like roasted to make kind of like this powder that then is used. Now, technically, if you accidentally were to swallow castor beans, it's supposed to be okay as long as they weren't like you didn't chew on them or they weren't perforated in any way. They would go essentially right through your digestive tract and they technically shouldn't do anything. But if they were cracked open, they were bruised, something happened where the outside coating is damaged, then the chemicals inside can still get into your digestive system and bad day. So but yeah, there's so if anybody has like castor beans, I love castor bean plants. I think they're so beautiful. They have this really gorgeous leaf shape. It starts to turn, it blushes, it starts to turn kind of like a pink and then like a red. Their stems really, really beautiful. And the leaves too, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous plant. But yeah, it's very it's very deadly. So yeah, plants that kill. I really like this plant. And then this book I also got recently. I believe I got it last year. I think I got it last year. Death in the Garden. And so this is the poisonous plants and their use throughout history. So this is the plant, the book. I almost said this is the plant I was thinking of. This is the book I was thinking of about like poisoning throughout history. So this one, Death in the Garden. And this one I do like because again, they really give a lot of content for each plant. So like here, Morning Glory. So Morning Glories, the seeds, was it 2020 or 2021? I know these last couple years have been crazy. So I know it was one of these recent years, the COVID years. But basically where a lot of big box stores and gardening stores were taking Morning Glory seeds off the shelves because the seeds can cause hallucinations and kind of um like they're psychoactive type of effects, and they were being stolen, and it somehow got out that the information kind of got spread around, and a bunch of people were stealing the seeds, and so they took them off the shelves. So but yeah, so I mean, some of these have larger sections than others. It's at least 2 pages though, and so there are quite a few covered. Monkshood. I have to find, I have one of these. I actually, um, I found a flower and I pressed it and it came out really nice. And I have to see which book I put them in. I have quite a few of these, guides with plants in them. And I really do need to transfer them over into my my materia medica essentially. And so where I transfer them over, I tape them to like a backing and then I put the identification. I don't remember where I found them. Sometimes depending, I might remember, oh yeah, I came across this, at least I know it's the botanical garden. I don't know where in the botanical garden. Um, but I'll try to think, where did I pick up this plant? Put the locale there and then just have, the because I do want to build that up so that I have specimens kind of ready to go. I actually I do that too because I collect also seed heads and things like that. And so I actually bought something to organize them a little bit better because I was kind of keeping them like in a big bowl. And so I bought this that I am I'm going to be separating them out. But this is meant to organize like craft supplies. And so I thought this might be really cool because then I can pick specific ones if I'm teaching a class or something. But basically they come in these little boxes here. And so for instance, here, so this is the dried heads of a snapdragon flower. And these famously look like skulls, if you can see it. They look like skulls when you look at them, especially upside down, kind of kind of look like an elongated skull or even like a fish skull. And so yeah. I was like, this is one, it'll protect it from getting crushed. But also it's a really cool way. And I'll label them and then if I'm teaching a class, it's just easier for me to hold them and then I can pass them around and I don't have to be worried that they're gonna get damaged or anything. I think I even have here are some hops. So these are some hops flowers. And I like that they're completely clear, so you can see everything from different angles. I even have a cicada in here, a cicada molt that so when the cicada leaves its skin, um I thought that was cool. I like because I do a lot of environmental science stuff and so I definitely I collect that type of thing too and not just plant related things. And then these are the I think it's called a spider lily. It's Clerio. I'll see what it was. I'm forgetting the genus, but they have these really cool seed pods that stick out all along the plant. And each one has just so many seeds, so many seeds, and they're super tiny. They kind of remind me of like mustard, like garlic mustard seeds. I think is it Clerio? Let me see if I can find it. I think it's called the spider lily. Something with a C. Cleome. There we go. Cleome. There we go. So it's a beautiful flower. And do you see those little things that are kind of sticking out along the sides? Those all develop into seed pods. So all around are just covered in these seed pods. Um, and our neighbor has these just growing um, all in their front yard and even along their stoop. So it's like outside of their front yard onto the sidewalk. They're just growing. And it started with one, and there's so many, and they come back every year. And I love passing by and seeing these because it's such an interesting flower. It's quite striking and so different from other flowers you tend to see. But they are not from the United States. I don't recall where they're from, but they're not from South America. There we go. Very cool though. So I do recommend, at least checking them out. Maybe not planting them. I think we should focus on planting more native species, but uh they are quite spectacular. Um oh yeah, Teresa, you're very welcome. Yes, right. Pictures needed, definitely. Yes, and that's a great so Brenda recommends that if you're curious about your local plants to head over to a local nature center because they tend to have like a lot of local edible plant guides in those places. Yes, definitely. Absolutely. I really do, also recommend, try your local nature centers. A lot of parks sometimes have like they call it a discovery center. Some botanical gardens have that too, and it's kind of like a place for you to go and check it out. One of our favorites is at the Jamaica Wildlife Refuge. They have a discovery center, and when you go in there, they even have animals that live there um, as taxidermy. So they had died of natural causes, but you could see some amazing species that kind of are represented there. There's like feathers and there's even um, there's a bunch of paintings and photos and there's like guides and I really like those. What are those called? I always think of them as like accordion guides, but that's not what they're called. I don't know how to. I'm trying to remember what they are called, but I have so many of them. I have them all together on my guide shelf. They kind of like I really can't remember what these are called. But as you can see, I collect them and I like to collect them from different places. So I even have some from Costa Rica. Um, but basically there's these that kind of open up. These are fun and you can, they don't take up a lot of space. So if you're kind of like, well, I really want to learn, but I don't have a lot of space for books, try these little like pocket guides. Um, and a lot of them really they do have a nice amount of information on them, especially if you're just looking to kind of get started. And and they're double-sided. So check these out. They might even sell them at the local like your local park or botanical garden. So like I have quite a few of these. I have roadside wildflowers. This one's all on Costa Rican wildlife. Um, so I picked this one up the last time I was there. So it has birds, it has reptiles, amphibians, mammals, insects. So I saw quite a few of these, which was very cool. So I was able to try to see if I could see how many could I actually see. And yeah, some flowers and some of the insects. And here are some of the mammals. We actually saw the squirrel. This one. So look at that squirrel. It's called a variegated squirrel. I didn't know that animals were called variegated, but this is called a variegated squirrel, and we saw them. And here in New York City, we have our gray squirrels and our brown, reddish squirrels, and then black squirrels. They're just melanistic. Um, but that's really the type of squirrels we see, and these were so much bigger, and the color, whoa. The first time I spotted one, I didn't even realize it was a squirrel. I was like, what is that? I thought it was like a mongoose or something. I was like, I don't know what that is. It's huge. What is that? And then I got a closer look because I only saw basically from its back. And then Sibley's actually these were gifted to me. Um, but these are like cards also that I have that have some are like little species guides as well. So I mean you can get some really cool things too that don't take up a lot of space if you are interested. Um yeah, I have ones on birds. Oh my gosh. And there we go. Edible wild plants. and edible wild foods as well. So I have quite the collection and medicinal plants. So I have I have these. And this one is very cool. So I got this back in like 2015, 2016. I saw in an article, and I think it was in the Times. I'm trying to remember where I saw it, but I saw an article and it talked about how these two men were mapping out all the trees in Central Park. And they were basically, it took them 2 years. And this keeps going. It's all of, and this is only half of the map. It opens up and let's see. It's a very large map. So this is one side of the map. It's huge. It's huge. And then the other side of the map. Here we go. And so each distinct species was given an icon, and then they were plotted all over the map. And then there are guides. So each species is an individual. So each one has its own symbol. So you just have to search for the symbol and find the plant, find the tree, I mean. And it took them 2 years. And I had it's very annoying to put back together. But I definitely thought like, oh wow, this is, super cool. And they ended up actually making an app as well. So you can actually download it and it has GPS. And so it will tell you, so let's say you're looking for, a pig nut hickory or something like that. And it will actually show you where it is on the map and you can walk. I think something just broke. I don't know what. And so yeah, it will then show you how to go there. Oh, I see what that was. Um, so yes, you can check it out. And what was really funny about this is I had this for years and I would carry it around. And then what I ended up is everything okay, Brian? Brian, I think brought up some boxes. Um, are you all right? So basically, I would carry it around, and then anytime I would be going to Central Park, I'd make sure I had this. And so I started to take a bird ID class. Actually, it was a bird identification class. And I mean, I'd been birding for a couple years, but I hadn't taken like a formal class. And the professor's name was Ken Chaya, and I kept telling myself, why does that name sound so familiar? And so we would do field trips, and one of those field trips was Central Park. So of course, I'm going to Central Park. I like to bring my map, so I brought that with me. And then as we were walking, he started to talk about how he had mapped out these trees. And I said, wait a minute. So I pulled out my map and I said, hold on, did you do this? And he was like, oh, that's my map. And so I didn't realize that I'd been carrying around my professor's map. And I was in a bird class, so it wasn't even about trees, but he does talk about trees and relationships between birds and the trees. And so it was a very, very cool kind of, random thing. But I had, oh my gosh, I've had this for several years. It's very cool, and the app is very cool. So if you're ever in New York City, like coming to visit, and you want to check out Central Park, and you actually want to know what kind of trees you have around, uh, download the app. It's free. I think there is a paid version as well, but it is free if you just want to use it like that. I think it's just you unlock certain features by paying for it. But yeah, check it out. Check it out. Suzanne says, the a book you might be you might like is only available from the author. It's called Oh, I have that book. Yes. The Lost Book of Remedies for 37. Yep, yep. Yeah, I got that book a few years ago. I was seeing it advertised everywhere. And so I did. I actually have that book. Um, Suzanne, yes, that's also the source of castor oil. Yes. So the castor plant is indeed the source of castor oil. So there are edible aspects of it. And then, yeah, but then the beans can also be prepared in a way that, yeah, could the are toxic that it's toxic. But yes, yes, that's where castor oil comes from. Um, yes, and the plastic parts cabinet would be good for storage. Oh yeah, absolutely good. Um, and I really I want to kind of organize my samples a lot better. I might actually make a YouTube video series of it, but I'm not sure. Basically, I have a giant box. It's a plastic, like big, sterilite. Um, it's just this giant plastic box, and it's full of seeds and seed pods, from everywhere. I've collected. I've had friends that have shipped me things from different parts of the states, especially sometimes plants that they've collected from like fallen leaves or things, pods from that have fallen from like botanical gardens and things. So uh, amazing. So I have quite a collection. Some of them are in Ziploc bags. Some of them are in jars, and a lot of them are just loose inside that box. And um I want to be able to organize them in a way, one, so it's easier for me to find, but also just to be able to enjoy them more, because I would have to really go digging. And I mean, it's fun, of course, to go digging for them and try to see what I have. But I would like to actually sit down, organize them, put them in individual containers or bags, have them all labeled, so that yes, it'll make them much more enjoyable that way. I have some really cool things in there. I have like K-pop pods in there that are very fluffy on the inside. It's like a cottony um, kind of hairs all over the inside. I have giant seeds. They're in the pea family, but they're called African dream seeds. And Brian and I did try one. So we grabbed the smallest one and we broke it. And they give you very vivid dreams. And so that one was interesting. So it just gave me like very odd dreams. I can't even remember what they were. I just remember them being very odd. And then I never tried it again. But the seeds are huge, and so I still have like three. I think there were four seeds. So I still have three, but they're like beautiful. So I definitely want to be able to showcase and show folks, and yeah, and do classes. So what I was thinking is, as for the YouTube series, is that I would essentially take out the box and then take out essentially uh kind of layer by layer and talk about what I'm looking at, tell a story of how I found it, what the plant is, what part of the plant is this, how does it work? Um, and then yeah, and then organize it. And then basically every time I do that, I record it, and then I have a really cool kind of compilation to show off the collection, and then also how I organized it, because there's so many really cool things in there. And so yeah, I'm thinking yeah, that that I might do that. Um Oh, Suzanne. So Suzanne says that she's planted Cleome and that it's gorgeous. Yeah, so for the guides, gosh, a lot of these, some of them I bought on Amazon, but I bought them. A lot of these I bought in person. So the Central Park guide, I did buy it online, and I think it's through him. So I think he has it's through like the website. So it's called the Central Park Guide. So I believe it was through like himself. These are Waterford Press. So these, I think these three, I think the medicinal plants, medicinal edible wild plants, and foraging. These were this set of three I actually got on Amazon. So it's Waterford Press and a pocket naturalist guide. So yeah, this set of three I got on Amazon. These I got, I think when I was this was during our road trip. This was during our road trip. We went down the East Coast essentially from New York all the way down to Florida. But we kind of meandered. And so we stopped at places like Tennessee. We went to this nature sanctuary in Tennessee. And we stopped like in North Carolina and South Carolina. We went through Alabama, I think Georgia. Georgia? Did we go through Georgia? No, I know we went through Alabama, but and then Louisiana, of course. So and then we went down into Florida. But these I bought and I don't know where, I don't remember. Maybe it might have been the Tennessee because that was the only nature center we went to. So I think it might have been that one. Um, and so this is a pocket naturalist guide. And I think it's actually the same. Oh, it's also Waterford Press. I didn't even realize that. So Waterford Press seems to do a lot of these pocket guides. Um, oh my gosh, this is also Waterford Press. These were actually given out. I have two of these because Brian and I went on a walk with the Audubon Society. And we went for a walk and they gave us all a free copy. And these are birds in that you'll see in New York. And so we were doing, oh no, there we go. I froze. Sorry. But yeah, we were doing a bird count. Trying to see, then that one was from Costa Rica. Yeah. So um Waterford Press. So I think this one was another one that we picked up on that road trip. I think I had bought those three from the road trip. And these are like roadside flowers. And it's also funny enough, Waterford Press. I really didn't I didn't notice that they seem to all be published by the same company. No idea. This one is my most recent purchase, and I bought this I believe in October or November of last year. And this was from the New York Botanical Garden. So this one is different in that it is a phylogenetic tree. So it's basically kind of how um, animals and plants and different types of organisms are related. So, and here it talks about kind of the different environments and different aspects of time and how the world has changed. Very cool. I definitely saw it and I wanted wanted to grab myself a copy. So yeah, so I picked that up. But I have, I mean, gosh, that's still something I want to do. I feel I saw someone on TikTok that has a scanner that their husband bought them a scanner because they wanted to catalog their book collection. And I thought that was a brilliant idea because I want to catalog my book collection. I have well over 1,000 books. Oh, and I just learned a few days ago that apparently to qualify to be a library, you need to have at least 1,000 books. I know I have 1,000 books. So several years ago, like 10 years ago, I cataloged books and I had well over 400. Um, I have many more books now. A lot more books now. So I definitely have over 1,000. But I actually have made the mistake of purchasing a book that I didn't realize I already owned. And so I'll see the book and go, oh, I heard about this book. I don't think I have this book. And then I bought it again. That's happened like 2 or 3 times. And so I definitely want to catalog all my books so that one, I never do that again. I can just search and go, oh no, you already own this. You don't need to get it again. Don't spend your money again. But also have it separated by bookshelf and shelf. So then it's easier for me to go, oh, okay, I know where that book is. And so it's easier for me to pull them out when I need them. So I might get one of those scanners for myself because I honestly was just going to pull shelf by shelf, sit down and type like in an Excel sheet um, the books that I have. But thinking of a scanner, just scanning the book and it putting the information onto a sheet for you, I think that's a better route. Less time consuming. I think that's why I've been putting it off. But I would love to then, do that and then share it with everyone. Just have it open so that, oh, what are you guys? That's Maple. Um, Jumping on the counter when he's not supposed to. And so he slipped and had to jump right back off. He scared himself. He did like a hop and then jump right back down. But yeah, I would like to share it with everybody so that you can see types of books I have. And then I also, want to go down the list and kind of mark them with like stars. So which books I recommend, what books maybe I don't recommend. And that's a project that's on my like bucket list of things I need to do is to catalog my entire library. And then yes, and have like whether or not I recommend the book. Because then, you don't have to spend money unnecessarily. If you see the book amongst those books, and then know, okay, yeah, it's worth it. No, it's not worth it. But yeah, but thank you so much, everyone. And oh, Brenda. Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, I really I think that I've been having that idea of recording myself organize them because again, I'm gonna pull them out and then I will basically end up telling Brian like, oh, look at this plant. Oh, I'm frozen. Okay, yeah. I know that I end up bombarding Brian with facts because I'll pull it out and I'll be like, oh, did you know that this is from this? Or oh yeah, I got this and this, this is this part of the plant. And um and so I thought, you know what, this might be a good chance to set up a camera and then do that and do that. So I might do that. Yes, Suzanne, exactly. Yeah, to create an Excel file with the items so that I can search. Exactly. And so that's what the scanner is supposed to, because originally, again, like I said, I was going to pull them off and then type all the titles, the name of the author, the publication year. But it turns out that if I get a scanner, the scanner would pull all that information and I could sync it so that it just does it. So all I have to do is click. And I like that idea. So so yeah. Oh, Waterford Press is on Google. Perfect. Yes. So get some guides because they're great. And then Brenda says, I have a Flora of Colorado book that I would like to match actual plants with the descriptions. Yes. Go. It's a really cool process. So finding those the plants that are actually in the book and making sure that you can kind of have like a map essentially of all these plants and find them. It's like a scavenger hunt. um Janizer, will you do consultations in the future? Yes, yes. So I had shut off my consultations like basically for the year because I took on the job at HWB. And so but I am actually planning to open up my books slowly. So I'm hoping maybe by the summer I will start to open up for a few times a week. So not as much as I used to. I used to do several consults in a day, but I will be opening up soon. Yes, both consultations for like herbal consultations as well as plant consultations, houseplant consultations. So so yes, definitely. But yeah, it was fun catching up with everyone. And I left it on my desk. It was behind my computer, so I completely forgot. But at the botanical garden, when I went into the store, and not only did I look at certain books that I thought were appealing, but I also found a wish list plant. So I saw this plant I had heard of the plant before, and I saw it when I went to Philadelphia to Ill Exotics, which closed. I'm not sure if anybody knew that, but who's in that area. But if you ever wanted to go to Ill Exotics, they have closed. I'm really upset about that because it was a super cool store. They had it was kind of like a zoo meets a store. So you would walk in and they had a whole area that you could go, and they had tanks filled with different types of reptiles like lizards and geckos and snakes. And it was absolutely beautiful. Tarantulas, scorpions even. And then they had planted terrariums. And so it looked like little slices of jungle. It was so beautiful. And then it was a plant shop. So you could then walk the rest of the shop, and so many plants. And this is a plant called, a common name is called bundle of sticks. And I saw it there. And I was so torn on whether or not I should take it, because I think I had grabbed like three different plants. And so I said, you know what? I'll leave it. I'll find this plant again. And I did not find it again. I could not find it again. I did find people selling it online, but they were smaller. Um, and so I just happened to go into the botanical garden and they had it. And so I like these types of plants. Anything, that looks really odd. They're called bundle of sticks because they look legitimately like that. So they are just a collection. This is a bunch of cuttings that were planted, and yeah, it has this really kind of scraggly, viney look that I really like. I do collect quite a couple of Ripsalis and things like this, so I was just really happy that I was able to find it. Um, and I'll see. It has some growth, some healthy growth points. And yeah, I'll share how it goes. But yeah, I really was really excited because this was one that I regretted not buying from that store. So and I really thought, oh yeah, if it's here, it's probably gonna start popping into shelves. And I couldn't. I haven't seen it. And I think we went to that Philly trip, I think has to almost be 2 years now. So no, we hadn't. I never came across them again. Um and we did actually pick up also some isopods over the weekend too. And I got some lemonades, which have a really pretty yellow color. I got a Thai species that I had never heard of before, Agnaras. They have some pictures here, so let's see. So here is the lemonade. This is this Thai species. So it has like a black line with orange. Really cool looking, very small in comparison to my other isopods. Um, the Dalmatian. So these are cool, white with those like black flecks. And then this one was on my wish list. Both Brian and I really wanted these, and they're called clowns. So Armadillidium klugii. Very pretty isopods. Very pretty. I think you can probably see some of them here. They're there eating some carrot. So this is the containers they came in, and I ordered a bunch of new little terrariums. So should be here tomorrow. And so then I'll be setting them up. And then Magic Potion was also on my list. Um, and so they're white with yellow and black flecks, and it looks beautiful. They look like almost like little jewels. Very iridescent, very cool. And I'm excited. I'm gonna set these up and grow out some cultures of these, and set up like some terrariums with live plants. And I kind of for the ones that I can mix, I want to kind of do like a tank with a bunch of different varieties of isopods so that there's so many different colors represented. Because some of these I can keep, I can cohabitate. Some I can't, but the ones that I can, I'm gonna be mixing, and I'm really excited about that. But yeah, that so some cool finds this weekend. But yeah, thank you so much everyone for hopping on and hanging out, talking about plant books. That's where the conversation really went today. So, a lot of guide recommendations. So I'll see if I really think I have a recommended reading list that I had put together that includes a lot of foraging books. So I'll try to find it, and then I'll put it in the next um, reminder email. I'll add that to like the recommended reading list to check out. And I do have like that Native American ethnobotany book. And I think I have a PDF copy, so I might try, I'll find it and drop it in with the recommended reading in case you want to read the book. So yeah, but thanks so much everyone for hopping on and hanging out. And Suzanne, you're right. Never leave anything rare behind. Yes. I always kick myself when I do that. So I need to just bite the bullet and just get them when I see them. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. And yeah. Oh, if I would recommend the Lost Book of Remedies, yes and no. Um, there were some. I remember when I haven't opened that book in a while, but when I did actually like look through it and I was actually trying to use it as a reference, I found that some of the information was information that I had found in other books. And some of the pictures were wrong. So some of the pictures weren't matching up to the plant. And I'm trying to remember, I think one was like a burdock, and I think it had a different type of plant. Um, yeah. So there were some things that I didn't like about that book. Um, but it's been a very, very long time. So I think I got that book like it first came out and it was everywhere. It was coming up on my Facebook, it was popping up on Instagram. I was seeing ads just everywhere. And so I picked it up. So, but I think there was just a couple things that I didn't really like about it. Um, but I mean, I'm always, I always give books another chance. So again, it's been several years since I've really looked at it. So I'll give it another peruse and check it out and pull some references. And so next week I'll let you know if I still if I still feel the same way, and I'll see if I can make notes on which pictures were wrong. But yeah, in terms of what book I would recommend for herbal remedies specifically, there's one that's actually by National Geographic that was really good. That one, the National Geographic, I think it's called the Desk Reference of Natural Remedies. That one's really great. I have quite a few herbal, like herb related ones, quite a few, but that one's really great. Um, there's some big ones. I'm trying to remember some titles right now because I can picture the covers on my in my mind. Um, Rodal's Rodales, Rodale or Rodale? Rodale? I always pronounced it Rodale, but maybe it's Rodale. That is a thick textbook. That one's really great. I don't see it, but I know that one's in there. Um, that one's really, really good. I have quite a few. I'll put together a list. I'll put together a list of a few. Because I have a lot. I have dozens. So many herb reference books. That's again why I want to really catalog that. And I also have a project that I've been working on where I've been kind of creating a big reference with all these mentions of different plants. And so this is why also cataloging my collection of books would help me help me organize myself a little bit better so that I can do that. But yeah, for just off the bat, it's Rodales. It's Rodale's. I think it's called Rodale's Herb Book or Book of Herbal Remedies. And then the National Geographic like herbal medicines book, or I think it's the desk reference. I think it's called like desk reference of natural remedies or herbal remedies, but it's the National Geographic one. It's a white cover and it has all the, like the little plants, the little like icons of the little plants. And then the Rodale's, I think, is also a white cover. It's also a white cover with the plants on it, but that those are really great. Those I definitely grab a lot. And also there's this small book called I think it's just called Herbs. And yeah, this one I actually have right there. This one's a really tiny one, but um if you just kind of want to start off with one and you don't want like a really large book, this one is just called Herbs, and it's Cornerstones is the publisher. It's a nice thick book. Um and it's very just, I mean, the photography is amazing, but it does have a little bit of information. It's very like beginner friendly. Again, I have flowers like falling out of here. Um but it's very beginner friendly, and it just has a couple like the most like bullet points on each plant, but there's a lot of plants covered. So if you want kind of more so a reference book that just has, a couple kind of big like the main information and um a lot of variety in terms of species, then this is the book you want. I know I think I have actually a mugwort leaf in here. I do. I knew I had it in here. Here we go. So I had mentioned mugwort earlier, and that the picture that was in that book didn't really highlight the shape of the leaf. So this is the mugwort leaf. You can see the dark side and then the silver side. But this is that mugwort leaf. So I really wish that the picture would have showcased the actual leaf, because you only see like part of the leaf and the other leaf is kind of like bent away from the camera. So you don't really get an accurate picture. So um yeah, getting some like really good images of the plants from different angles, but also really like showing the actual morphology of the plant, that for me is very, very important for the photos to really be helpful, you know. But yeah, so yeah, so if you just want the solitary one, I would probably say the Rodales one, Rodales or Rodals. I think it's Rodals, but yes, I would say that one probably be best to have. And also I do have some PDF ones in the recommended reading that's free. They're PDFs. You're welcome to download them, check them out, and then they're free. So so you don't have to worry about spending any money. uh Feel free to download them. Every time I see like a good book in there, a good book, I'll throw it in there. So there's a few already. So yeah, but thank you so much again, everyone, for tuning in and hanging out. Um, oh, and Suzanne, the PDFs are in the recommended reading with the replays. So it's where you find the replays. I can let me open up a tab here and let me pull my my connection is being a little spotty today. Hold on one second. Hey, you saw that was a bad idea before. Why would you try to jump right back on there? It was a bad idea to jump up there, buddy. One second. Let's see. Here we go. So let me put the link here. I'll drop it in the chat. And so you'll see all the replays of our past classes as well as there's some extra folders in there. So there's like the recommended reading. Here we go. Recommended reading in there and yeah, it's free. So there's PDFs in there. I think Nature's Palette is in there. Alchemy of Herbs is actually in there. That's another good book. I mean, it works as a reference, but it's specifically geared towards understanding the energetics of plants. So, I mean, that's actually a really good one. So if that would be a nice approach if you really want to work with herbs, is understanding their energetics, because it talks about our internal energetics and the energetics of plants. Because some plants are very cooling to the body, some plants are very heating, some can be very moistening or very drying, and you know, either relax our tissues or you know, kind of cause some more kind of tension or vitality in our tissues. So if you kind of want to explore that, Alchemy of Herbs, and it's free, it's in there, it's in that recommended reading list. So yeah, check it out. But you're very, very welcome, everyone. And yeah, have a great week and stay healthy. Hey, Maple's trying to climb up here. No, you're gonna, he keeps tossing down plants. I don't know why. He's decided that he needs to climb up here. That he never used to climb up here. And just recent months, this has become a thing. But then he ends up dropping plants. Buddy, go, 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 go. Oh no, not my string of pearls. Go, 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 go. Come on, buddy. Jump, jump. Oh no, not string of pearls, string of hearts. Hold on. I'm moving my plant because he's going to tip it over and I'll get very sad because I really like how this one's growing. All right. Have a good one, everyone. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your week. Bye. Come on, Maple.